Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Chris EUBANK, he had something to say, didn't he, today at the old press conference about promoters. He was asked actually about why did he choose Boxer, Ben Shalom's Boxer, to sign with, and he sort of paused and he said, well, all the others are scumbags, and that's the word he used. Now, sitting behind him was Frank Warren, and sitting at the other end of the top table was Eddie Hearn. And he said, Frank Warren, he's been lying and cheating his way through boxing for the last couple of decades, maybe longer. Just saying. Kalle Sauerland was the next one to get it in the neck. Chris said, I've been locked into a terrible contract for the last couple of years. Eddie Hearn, he said, tried to make a fight with Conor Benn, knowing that Ben was on steroids. That's what EUBANK believes. And he had praise for Turki Al-Sheikh. He said he's the only person who puts the boxers first, isn't trying to fleece money off boxers. And as an afterthought, almost, he said, oh, yeah, and Ben Shalom, he's a nice enough guy. We really like Ben Shalom, you know. Now, Frank Warren, of course, was biting. You know, Eddie Hearn just sat there looking rather probably unamused, but wasn't going to say anything. Probably thought, nah, let him have it, so who cares? But Frank was, you know, turn it up, I can't hear you. Oh yeah, I'm a scumbag, am I? Why didn't you fight, you know, that other scumbag, Hamza Shiraz, you know, and all this sort of thing. You know, EUBANK also said that when someone mentioned that he'd been knocked out by Liam Smith, he said, I wasn't knocked out. I wasn't knocked out at all. He said, the referee stopped the fight. I was, you know, up for it. I was up for carrying on, and the referee stopped the fight, and therefore I wasn't knocked out. It was a TKO. Okay, technically that is correct. But we all saw Chris doing his little funny dance, and the referee was entirely justified in stopping that fight. But Chris EUBANK Jr. is not happy. He's not happy. And bearing in mind how litigious Frank Warren is, I wonder if we've heard the last of this, I wonder if he'll be going straight for the jugular. I haven't seen any interviews with Frank asking him about this. Inevitably, they will appear. Eddie Hearn, not a litigious sort of fella. Yeah, Kalle Sauerland probably could be asked either. I don't know. I mean, EUBANK said, you know, that promoters sign boxers into all sorts of, how he put it, slave contracts. And I first heard that term when Floyd Mayweather Jr., this is going back to, just moved to America, the late 90s. He was offered, I think, a $12 million deal with Top Rank, and he actually bought out his contract and said that $12 million is a slave contract. And I remember thinking at the time, I wish someone would give me $12 million as a slave contract. But of course, we know what Mayweather went on to do. He went on to make huge amounts of money, you know, 9 figures and all the rest of it, $500 million, whatever the hell it was. But EUBANK is, what is he now, 34, something like that, 35, 34? He's got to get his skates on if he wants to make some serious money and to win world titles. I think winning world titles is incidental to him. It's all about money. And in fact, when he was calling Frank Warren a scumbag, he said that he sued me for $200,000 some years ago. So I wasn't going to re-sign with him, was I? Okay, point taken, Chris. But I don't know. What do you think about this? Is this the end of it? Or is Uncle Frank going to say, naughty boy, I'm coming for you. Get the old Ritz flying. Bit of a Rit enthusiast in the past is Uncle Frank. Hearn will probably just take the piss like he always does, laugh it off. And Kalle Sauerland, he'll probably gurn and like he's on the sniff again. When talked about it, when it's mentioned to him, he'll just sort of give a good old Chris, what's he like? You know, it'll be that sort of reaction, and then he'll tell his side of the story and wash his hands of him. I don't know. look, I don't have a high opinion of promoter. It's weird because, you can appreciate that someone is good at what they do without approving of it. So in terms of putting on great shows, of course, Warren, Hearn, Kalle Sauerland's put on some great shows. Mick Hennessy's put on some fantastic Channel 5 shows back in the day. Would I trust any of these men? Well, the proof's in the pudding, innit? I certainly wouldn't sign with any fighter. If I was a fighter, I wouldn't sign with any promoter for more than a couple of years at a time. Put it that way. I remember who was it now? Was it Isaac Chamberlain signed for 5 years? 5 years with Mick Hennessy, which was almost 5 years ago, I think. I thought, what the hell is he signing with Mick Hennessy for 5 years for? But hey, you got any thoughts about this? Comments below. Go and have a look at the interview. It's quite funny. It's not an interview. It's at the press conference for Bivol. Is it Bivol Beterbiev? Yeah. So go and have a look at it. Tell me what you think. Comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button. Jab right cross on the like button and all that business. And I will look forward to reading what you've got to say. Peace.